We begin with some overnight news. A light flickering outside one North Valley home turned out to be flames. Albuquerque firefighters responded to about 2 o'clock this morning to the 6300 block of Kearney Trail Northwest. That's in Taylor Ranch, west of Coors off of Montano. A family of 4 got out with no problem. The quick work by the fire crews kept the damage contained mostly to the garage area. It's still too early to tell what exactly sparked this blaze. We'll keep you posted as we get more information. Outrage over the death of 9-year-old Omari Barella is escalating.
And this morning, the jobs of 2 APD officers and the Secretary of the Children, Youth and Families Department are in the crosshairs, targets of a petition being pushed by 2 civil rights groups and a church group.
We have heard the tapes, we have talked to individuals, and we believe that that tragedy that happened to little Omari was uncalled for. We believe that many failed Omari.
The Reverend Darnell Smith with the Macedonia Baptist Church here is referring to the 911 call made from Omari's home 6 months before investigators say his mother, Cynthia Varela Casaus, kicked him to death. On Sunday, Darnell's group, along with the NAACP and the state chapter of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, the SCLC, started this petition. They're all trying to gather hundreds of signatures to urge the city to fire the 2 officers who responded to the 911 call and did not file a report. They're also calling on the governor's office to push out the Secretary of CYFD, Yolanda Dinas.
The petition now circulating also calls for APD to fire the 2 officers who responded to Omari's home months before his death. We asked the mayor here in Albuquerque what he thought about that. Mayor R.J. Berry would not talk to us on camera, but he did tell us that he is waiting for an internal investigation to be complete before any action is taken. The mayor also said last week that the city would fund a task force to bring in experts to discuss how deaths like Omari can be prevented. The child abuse advocates behind the petition say it's all about holding accountable those they feel failed Omari.
And one state senator agrees in general with this group's push for change. He wants more oversight at CYFD, but he says the head of the department is against that. Senator Michael Padilla is pushing a bill that would force CYFD to produce a report about how it places and removes kids from homes and more. He says the director, Yolanda Dinas, does not want the bill to pass, and Padilla says that is indicative of the department's problems.
This department has been established for 23 years now. Well, therein lies the problem. Because this data is not available, we wind up with situations like this.
The CYFD says Secretary Dinas is fighting for pay raises for CYFD caseworkers, working to strengthen the child abuse reporting law, and supporting a preventative program to support families at risk for abuse. Now, on top of all this, CYFD is now facing a federal lawsuit, and this one is about a completely different case.
Yeah, a family is suing, claiming that their 8-year-old granddaughter was put in a bad situation.
We discovered that she had been starved. She had been physically abused, beaten by her uncle and her mother, and sent out into the streets to buy them drugs, cigarettes, alcohol, whatever.
Okay, so Carolyn Silverman is the child's grandmother. According to a federal lawsuit in 2011, a judge granted the girl's father primary custody and said that the girl was to live with him at his parents' house. Well, the grandparents say a CYFD investigator knowingly ignored the court's order instructing Belen police to take the girl away from the father, which they allegedly did during a traffic stop. For months, the family didn't know where the girl was or where the mother was. The grandparents hired a private investigator who found them in Espanola living with a cousin who was on probation for burglary and possessing drug paraphernalia. The girl, by the way, is now back with the grandparents.
All right, a tough story to hear about and to tell you about this morning. A warning for you, it's a little bit disturbing. A 4-month-old baby girl is still on life support right now after getting raped and abused. Extra security stood very close by Elijah Fernandez, who is just 19 years old, as he faced a judge yesterday on child rape and child abuse charges. Investigators say he was watching his girlfriend's infant daughter Friday night when she stopped breathing. Police say after that, they discovered bruises on the baby's face, and doctors say she has a brain injury and there is evidence of sexual assault. Police say Fernandez initially claimed the baby fell off a bed, then told detectives he hit the baby twice, saying he was stressed and she was crying. CYFD says the family was referred to the agency 3 times, but none of those cases were about child abuse.
Your Honor, we are extremely disturbed with the nature of the allegations as written in the criminal complaint, specifically the level of alleged injury sustained by the alleged victim, as well as the age of the alleged victim.
Fernandez's bond was set at $100,000 cash only. Police say the mother told them she was at a relative's home during the time of the abuse. Detectives are now questioning everyone who was at the home. Well, the push to stop allowing illegal immigrants to get driver's licenses here in New Mexico has come to a halt. It was a tie vote for a House committee this weekend.
You know, what's interesting is that college students are speaking out about this. Many are showing support for undocumented classmates at school. News 13's Samantha McDonald went to UNM to find out more about this. Good morning, Sam.
Good morning, Elizabeth. Well, a group of student leaders here at UNM are saying every student deserves a license in order to get an education. The Associated Students of UNM have voted 18-2 to pass a bill that supports the rights of all undergrads to get a license. One student says many of her friends and classmates are undocumented, and having a license would help them get to school.
UNM is a commuter campus, and so it's really hard for them to even come to school or even get a LOBO ID if they don't have a driver's license. So that was our main goal and our main motivation for passing this resolution.
Governor Susana Martinez had been trying to repeal the 2003 law that allows undocumented immigrants to get a license. The concern there is that the law makes the state vulnerable to fraud.
It's not an immigration issue. There's a lot of good people who come to the United States illegally to make a better life. The problem is there are some people who come to the United States for our own detriment, and these people need to be documented.
The House voted 4-4 on this bill, preventing it from advancing. Back to you.
All right, Samantha, thank you very much. By the way, the session is set to end in a couple of weeks. We will keep you posted right here on what ends up happening with this issue on KRQE News 13. Meanwhile, in Washington, a bill to improve the training and accountability for Border Patrol agents is being led by New Mexico Congressman Steve Pierce. He and Texas Representative Beto O'Rourke announced the proposed bill yesterday. The measure creates new ways for people to resolve issues with the